Hello and warm welcome from Melton Mowbray. I'm Jenifer, one half of the Psychic Phoenix, and it is so hot in Melton. It's so hot. I am so excited and honoured, and I can't wait for you to meet the beautiful Tina Kemp. And I'm just going to pass it over to Tina to introduce herself, and I hope you enjoy our conversation tonight. Tina, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm really just a woman. In the end of the day, I'm just a woman living in a particular outback, in the Italian outback. And I think about stuff. I think about a lot of stuff. And I also sometimes write about it and sometimes speak about it. But above all, I'm really in love with humans. I can't really lie about that. I'm just in love with humanity. I love to see what they do, the solutions they come up with, the questions that they ask themselves. And that is why I am here, I suppose, also talking to you, Jenifer, because you're part of humanity. And I guess we're just here to talk.
Yes, we are here to talk, and our paths met when I was doing I was saying to Tina, like, I can't believe Thomas agreed to do this conversation with me. Literally, like, he is somebody I've listened to since 2017, and he spoke about you, Tina, and then you put into the comments about your experience when you were pregnant and you were in the forest, and then you heard this music,
Yeah.
and it was your first experience with the Fae, and you automatically knew, oh, to be weary and like not go into the forest. It's almost like you were being called out into the forest. And from what I've learned from Thomas and other people is like when you're pregnant, you ought to be very careful about the fairies. They're not what we think of as Tinkerbell.
Well, it definitely wasn't my first experience. I had experience with those creatures way before that. And I think that my experience before that also helped me to not give into that feeling of, let's open that door, let's open that window, see where it's coming from. I had this very instinctive no. It felt very strong to me also, that feeling of no, don't do that. And I didn't do that. And I think I did the right thing by just listening to that voice also, because I I worked in the forest before I came to Italy. I had a part-time job in a forest where I had to go around and show children around. I had to uh, talk to a lot of groups and a lot of children saying like, this is that tree and this is that tree and don't touch this and don't do that. And I also had to go alone in those times. And I very distinctly remember feeling unwelcome several times. But you had to be there. You had no choice. You had to go. So I felt unwelcome. But I always tended to listen to that voice. When that voice comes, like, look, you are not wanted here. Make your time as brief as possible. That is also why I never opened that door, because I I don't really know what could have happened. I really don't. But I just knew that if I had opened that door and my hand was on the handle at the time, it was already there, thinking, just just don't open it. I A lot of bad things could have happened in the spiritual sense. And I, I can't really explain it other than that. I just seem to have really good intuition when it comes to these things.
Yes, that reminds me, because I went into this church in Wakefield where my daughter lives now, and I've got this fascination about churches. So I went into this church and I was just looking around, and then I started to look at the actual windows, and this voice said to me, get out of there. Don't give them your attention. Just go. And I've never had that feeling before, but I listened to my intuition and I left the church. I think the actual building was one thing, but it was just seeing the statues and the windows, you know, that felt like to go. When I listen to one of your videos, you talk a lot about protection, because I must admit, until a few days ago, I thought the astral plane was like up in the sky somewhere far, far away. But the astral plane, the other world, is in the same space as what we are. So around us is things, and I don't know how to explain it, but we need to protect ourselves on a daily basis, because like I said to you at the very beginning, sometimes you can wake up feeling, you know, your life is amazing, but all these doubts and insecurities, and so we
I
need
had
to protect ourselves.
yeah, I had a really I had a really grave thing happen to me once, and it was I was still living in the city that I used to live in, and I was just bicycling on a street that I bicycled a lot, and this woman, for whatever reason, because I was not alone, there was a person with me, and he was bicycling in front of me, but for some reason, this woman decided that she needed to stop me, not him who is bicycling in front of me, but she stopped me, saying like, "Excuse me, young woman, don't you know that this is not a bicycle path?" And I'm just thinking there, standing there, literally thinking like, and there is a reason you're telling me and not him? The violent thoughts that I had going through my mind at that moment, I cannot even describe. I wanted to unalive that woman at the spot. I could have done it if I had given in to it. I just would have tossed her over the riverbed. She would have wound up somewhere where there is a dam. But I didn't do it because I knew at that moment, like, this thing that you're thinking is not you. This is not you. This is the environment talking to you. And some places just are evil. And that place was an evil place. It maybe I was more susceptible to it because of certain choices and patterns I repeated. I won't deny that I have culpability in that. But yeah, some places attract evil things, and they will whisper to you. They whisper in the back of your mind, and all of a sudden you will have this very violent thought, this very evil thought that you would have otherwise never thought. But you thought it at that moment because something was there talking to you. And look, I fully acknowledge that the person has personal agency, that we can choose not to give into these things. But I also acknowledge that it can be very, very powerful, especially because you don't really expect it. All of a sudden, you have this voice telling you, like, you know what this person has been saying about you, all in all in all? Don't you think you deserve some revenge? That's very powerful.
Very powerful. So how do you protect yourself? How do you?
I think I just distinguish to sort of learn which thoughts are my own and which ones are not. I cannot really tell you how to do that, to be honest. It's just a feeling like this thought is not my own.
So basically, when those thoughts come up, you literally just tell them to get away and to leave.
Yes, go
Not my fault.
away. And
Go
very
away.
firmly, for that matter,
Mm,
you really don't fuck around with these things. You tell them very plainly, very clearly, go away.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not me. Go away from my space. I don't want you here.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Also, like our homes are very sacred, aren't they? Where when we come home, the full, even though I don't like the thought of our homes because it's all electrical, it's all like TVs and electricity, but our homes are where we come back to at the end of the night when we can just be. How can we raise the frequency of our homes? What do you do to, I hit my microphone then, what do you do to make your home yours?
Throw away the TV, cut the line, just cut it straight through. Do away with that thing. If you have to look at the news and you want to know what's going on in the world, then go on the internet and look it. Uh, at least, at the very least, you're doing it on your own terms, but you're
Yeah,
not having it being told to you, told what to think, told how to think. Do
yeah.
away with that.
Anything else like you, because you're with the runes, aren't you? So I was thinking like with the Nordic symbols of
Well,
protection.
I I know a lot of Christians who pray, and this works for them. So I will never tell anybody to do what I do. If it works for you and you know that this works for you, then this is fine. You don't have to do what I do, but you need to believe that it works for you. And that is very important. And if this is a prayer, if this is a psalm from the Bible, I'm never going to tell you, no, don't do that, because that, if it works for you, that works for you. That is magic. You need to be able to trust yourself. And if you cannot trust yourself, then you have nothing really.
Yes, so it's our intention, the power of our intention, the power of what we believe in is the true power that we hold within us.
Yes.
So what we put our attention to, what we truly, truly believe in is what works for us. Can I ask you also, how do you see, I call this place that we live on a realm. Some people say planet, Earth, reality. How do you see this place that we live on in?
Well, that's that's a really good question. um I I can't really answer it. I think we are here, and there's no denying that we are here, and we need to interact with our environment in a way that is productive. Uh, the alternative is just not worth exploring. Why are we here? I don't know. Um, I like that I'm here. I like this world. I like other people a lot, even though I don't always show it. But I think we are here because we choose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I also feel like we need to live in harmony with the unseen. Not the unseen, that isn't right the word, but we need to live in harmony with nature, don't we? We need to live in harmony with the seasons. And I totally agree with you. Like I've said for so long, just stop watching the TV, stop reading the magazines and newspapers and the social media, which draws your attention away to the true, it's like they want to, and I've noticed in England in the last few hours, it's like it just drags us into this divide and just drags us into this, like you just think, is this what we came here for? And I don't believe that. And that's why I feel like if we just focus on our own lives, my favorite saying is just focus on growing roses. What do you
That's
focus?
well, yeah, absolutely. I think about growing roses. I've tried so much to grow roses and they never really grew. And then the moment that I stopped caring about it, I'm like, oh, you asshole plants won't abide to my rules anyway. So I'm just going to leave you at it. And then all of a sudden they started growing and blooming. And I was just standing there looking at it like, I can't. I can't explain it. I'm so angry and satisfied at the same time.
Yeah, it's like the moment you take your attention off something, it just automatically happens, doesn't it? It's like nature goes, I don't need you to attend to me. I'm just going to go grow and blossom and bloom.
And I paid so much money for those bushes, only for
Yeah.
them to not need me. And I was angry about that.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like we feel like we need to control nature, but nature's saying, no, you can't control nature. Nature's just going to
Yeah.
do its own thing, isn't it?
Yes, definitely will.
Definitely. The other thing I noticed, not I one of your videos, it was like in the world of social media, because that's like where the big business is, isn't it? It's all about well-being. It's they're pushing like I don't know how you feel about yoga, but it's like yoga and sit to meditation and this, that, and you'll have the life you dream of. And the stories in their life. But one thing I notice about what you say is you keep your private life private. You don't share your sacred magic. Like you was once speaking about an altar, like you have an altar, but you will never share your altar because that's giving the magic away.
Well, I firmly believe that the occult is the occult. Um, it, in a very literal sense, it is meant to be a secret. If you tell everybody your secrets, you will have no leverage anymore. If even let's forget about magic for a second. You're just a guy or a woman in the world, and you tell everybody where you hide your door key. You tell everybody where you get this or get that, or you do this or you do that. What power do you really have in the world? And this is important because you give people the key to your vulnerabilities. And you should never, ever do that. I say this out of love for humanity, really, more than anything else. You should never tell a person about your deepest secrets, ever, no matter how benign you think they are, because you give them the key to your kingdom. And then what?
They
They
just
will,
barge in.
indeed, they will come in. And what do you have as a defense?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's
Never, ever give away your secrets.
that took me to a fairy tale. It's like we have this wall of defense around us, don't we? And then you just let the gate come down and then charged in. And how many times have we said to people, this is what I'd love to do? And then everyone goes, are you sure? And then that dream goes like a puff of smoke. I feel like listening to you, you truly understand the occult, you truly understand the magic. One of the things I always want to know about and people's experiences, how powerful are we? I mean, you said like you're not sure why we're here, but we're here for a reason. But we are very powerful, aren't we?
As powerful as you think you are. If you think of yourself as a nobody, I can never achieve anything. I'm such a loser. I'm this and that. That's exactly what you are. But you need to believe it. That is the core tenet of magic is know thyself, which means not only knowing your strengths, but also your weaknesses. And knowing your weaknesses gives you a great, great, great boon, because you need to know, because these are your weaknesses is where you will be attacked. You may not always be aware of your own weaknesses, but that doesn't mean that other people cannot see it, and they will see it, and that's where they will get you. So yeah, it's not pleasant, far from, to know your own weaknesses, to know yourself truly and deeply. That and know yourself, yes, a great part of knowing yourself is to know where your strengths are, but also your weaknesses. Because that's, I mean, people, if you know your strengths, other people can see your strengths too. They will never attack you there, but they will attack you where they see a weakness, where you cannot see it. And it's deeply unpleasant magic in that sense that you are a human. You're not an immortal. You're not a god. You are very fallible and you have weaknesses. And I think that is to do with the new age for a big deal, that think of yourself as a god and a goddess. But you're not. You're not.
Yeah, that's what Thomas said. He said we're mortals, we're not gods, not goddesses. And how people go about saying how they're a priestess or goddess or shaman, the true ones who would say that wouldn't say that out publicly, would they?
No.
No.
Of course not, because their ultimate goal is to help humans, their fellow humans. They are a human too. They understand the human condition and they want to better it. But they have a calling in the sense that they want to go deeper than the surface level of humanity. Humanity, surface level, is me, you talking face to face. But underneath that, there is a whole energetical tug of war going on, if you will. And I think that the shamans, real shamans, sense that in a way that they don't need to be told about it. They don't need to be shown. They just know. This is an innate knowledge that they have. And what do they do with it? If they cannot utilize that knowledge and their skills to help the people around them, then what they are ultimately doing is just wasted. Because, I mean, you can be a dark sorcerer, you can be a black magician and work for yourself all the time, but you will die. You will. And then what? Nothing.
Where do you think we go when we pass over? Because like it's coming out more and more about how you go to the white light is a bit of a trap and a bit of a reincarnation, recycle, and how we're just food for the moon and we get trapped into this eternal reoccurrence. And so when we pass over or die, where do you believe we go?
To our gods, to what we believe that is true. If you go through life thinking there is nothing, that is what you will see, nothing. And you will eventually suffer a death of soul that is, I don't think I have a word for it, but it's a really terrible thing. If you think there is nothing, that is what you will encounter. If you think of yourself as a child of your gods, your ancestral gods, that is what you are. You will go to them and be reborn again in their image, their literal image, like a man, like a woman.
Thank you. So Thomas says he's very much a pagan. Would you describe yourself as a pagan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I know a lot of Christians and I adore them deeply. I cannot lie. I have a lot of love for a lot of Christians because they are. I don't see them as opponents to my beliefs. I just don't. I just see them as people, and you're looking for truth. You want to find truth and meaning in your own lives, and I respect that.
Beautiful. There's another question I was going to ask you. That's right. Yes. One of the other things I've come across on my journey is how the whole of this world, this realm, this reality was pagans, whether it's Australia, America, it was the one connection that everyone had. Everyone lived in accordance to the land, to the gods, to goddesses. They all, have you come across that belief?
Very much. Italy is very peculiar that way because every little town like mine has their own goddess. They will never ever call her a goddess. They will call her a saint. I have the saint of the Nespoli tree. The city next to me, the town next to me, has the saint of the cherry tree, and the other one has the saint of the oak tree. But they are goddesses because there are specific stories linked with those deities on why they became these saints, these goddesses. Why are they the patrons of this particular town? So, Italy is extremely pagan in everything but name.
Yeah.
And I like it also because you don't need to be boastful about it. You don't need to be shouting it off the rooftops. You just are.
Yeah. 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 Thomas said that the closest to, if you wanted to convert to paganism, the closest people that would do it is the Roman Catholics, because they're literally aren't they? They're literally worshipping and living to the seasons and living to the celebrations that the
That
pagans
that
did.
is also why I got so irritated with that whole, well, with the Olympics opening ceremony, that people are getting really incensed about it. Oh my gosh, it is mocking Christianity. It is mocking the Last Supper. Look, the 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 Olympics have been a pagan ceremony since their inception, since their very inception. It has never been anything else but a pagan ceremony dedicated to the worship and glorification of the Greek pagan pantheon.
Ah, yes, 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 yeah. Pompeii rings a bell, and the thing, the Colosseum, where they all like sat round and just watched. It is the same, isn't it? Olympic.
Yeah, it is the exact same. Yeah, Rome copied that, and Rome later expanded on that and said, like, bread and games for the masses. If we give bread and games to the masses, meaning that we won't starve them and we'll give them entertainment, then the Roman masses will not really be all that interested in what we are doing politically. And they were right about that. That is more profound than we give them credit for.
And that is what they've been doing every 4 years, isn't it? It's almost like a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah,
Olympic
of course
Games.
it is. But there are many distractions. The Olympics are just one of them. After a while, you just observe it and go like, yeah, that is, yeah. They'll be entertaining themselves for a long while about that. But what is the difference with other distractions, really?
What are they distracting us from? What's your feeling on that? Because we have entered the age of Aquarius.
Sovereignty, you being in charge of yourself.
Right.
Um, you, if you as a person, if you can be that easily incensed, you can be that easily provoked or set alight emotionally by external influences, you are somebody's bitch.
Yes, I was good. I said puppet. You said bitch. I said puppet.
Uh, I'm sorry, I don't want to cuss on your YouTube channel, but puppet.
No, 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 no. It's okay. It's okay. I swore on my videos before, so don't worry. As I said, it's like, but it is, isn't it? It's stopping us from being our sovereign being, isn't it? And we're just, it's almost like, I don't know who they are, but it's almost like they're just using us, aren't they? The strings of a puppet, getting
If
us to
the
react.
Olympics were never on TV, would you have even known about it?
No,
No,
I don't.
it wouldn't matter.
No, that's why I go back into my garden. That's why it's about growing roses. It's about my universe, which is going to work, my family, my home, my two dogs. That's my universe.
Yeah.
And like it's like Thomas said, or I always remember
and
saying,
and it's a beautiful universe, isn't it?
yes,
You go there and you feel the beauty, the love,
yes,
and that matters to you,
yeah,
right?
right,
So why would we go anywhere else?
yes. And it's like we can get drawn into to other things, but that's nothing to do with us, is it?
Yeah,
It's not, I'm not saying like if anyone's listening to me, I'm not saying like we don't care. It's just not using our energy.
it's just not important.
Yeah.
No, it just isn't. Yes, I can fully well understand that. If I look at the news, that it is a horrible thing what is happening in Gaza. I would never wish that on any child anywhere ever. But if it was or was not happening, doesn't make a difference to me personally. It just doesn't. That's a very ugly truth. That it is. It's very ugly to look at that and admit that to ourselves. But on the other hand, if we do not do that, then if we cannot admit that, then what are we really doing? All that energy could have gone into something good for our family.
Yes. Because ultimately, I truly believe nothing we can do is going to help. Being, mm, is that the right thing to say? I don't know. No, ultimately, if we can make our family, our little universe right, then that ripples out. Do you
Yeah,
feel?
yeah, absolutely. You're so right about that. If we can manage to make our own in front of our little doorstep, if we can make that a pretty and very positive place that people look at and go like, oh my gosh, that is so nice. I think that inspires people to do the same. And
Yes.
that is the ultimate goal. We want people to be better. I don't think that magic has anything to do per se with getting one over the other. I think it is meant to inspire people to do better, to get better, because that
Yes.
is the ultimate goal. And that whole idea that we are jealous of each other and that's why we do things, I don't think that is the case. I think we get inspired. We look at people and think like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful, that is wonderful, and we want to do the same because we think it is great.
Yes. So when we then go out to our workplaces and do our daily things into the outer circle of our lives and have that same philosophy, like whatever we do work-wise, we do it to our best, then that inspires others to do the best. Um, so and I don't want to get confused because like with the new age circle, like and I always think of my dear friend Kavita, because she says I was never aware of the new age. We don't always have to love everyone either, do we?
No. I absolutely don't. If I don't like a person, I will just not make any qualms about that. I just don't like you. There is no way that you can make me like you. Well, if I get something out of it, I can pretend. But that's as far as the relationship goes. I don't like you. I don't have to like you. There is no law. There is no rule that says that I have to like everybody. I don't like everybody. There are people that I dislike with a passion.
Yeah, because that's where we've been. And I think it gets back to that sovereign, I can't pronounce the word, but being sovereign. It's like we've been, not everyone, but me, like with the new age, like you just got swept away into like love everybody, and the world is a beautiful place, and there's nothing's like, there's no evil, but there is evil in the world. There is badness. There is horrible, nasty people about, and it's being aware of that, isn't it?
Of course, the world is not a safe place. Look, I have a son. I have a very small son, and he is a very solar personality. So he will go up to people and go smile and like, "Hey, do you have some food for me?" And it's really cute and adorable to see. But at the same time, it is always in the back of my mind. Every time he does that, he is taking a risk. The world is not a safe place like that. Some people will look at him and think that's very easy prey.
Yeah. Was the world always like this, though? Do you believe that?
Yes.
You do?
Because if it wasn't, then there would be no reason for us to be here at all. If it was just a paradise, everybody gets along great, and there's no miscommunication, no we're just here to have a good time, then what would be the point? There would be no point.
Do you think we're here to learn lessons?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are here to learn how to be a human, most of all.
Yeah. Where, one other question is like, where do you, I always have this feeling like, one of the new age things is like we're all part of this God experience, and then we've all like been sparks, and we've come down to experience, and then we all go back to this one spark. Whereas I feel like perhaps from different planets and different solar systems.
Sure, but be that as it may, let's pretend that is even true for a second. Then why are you here? Feeling how you're feeling. You're obviously not feeling very well, considering that you are doing this a lot on YouTube, on your social media. You're feeling badly and you want other people to know and acknowledge that you're feeling badly. So who are you to talk about positivity? Huh? Who are you to teach others how to feel good while you yourself cannot do it? And that's what I truly feel about most new age assholes. You are so full of it all the time. You want people, you call yourself all types of healers, but your own illness you cannot even see nor cure, let alone cure. You can't even see it. So yeah, I have very strong opinions about those people, and I also think that those people are overpaid, to put it mildly.
Yeah, but it's big business, isn't it? They get a lot of followers.
Of course it is, because we as humans, we have this drive, and we cannot even help it. This is instilled in us before we are even born. We look for meaning. We want life to have meaning. And very often we look outside of ourselves to find it. And it is rather easy to pay somebody exuberant amounts of money to tell you what the meaning of life is and then live by those rules. But never ever does it satisfy. You have to find meaning to your own life. If you cannot do it, then that does not mean that you will go to hell or that your life is inherently meaningless. It just means that your sight was limited.
Yeah. Which reminds me of something else that, I came across where, like, when you find the meaning of life, you don't share it, you keep it to yourself because it's everyone's journey to find the meaning of life themselves.
It absolutely is. Because what does it mean when you tell somebody the meaning of life? It has no meaning. It has no substance to it. If that person cannot see and find it for themselves, it will mean nothing to them. To you, it may mean the world. It may mean all 9 worlds of the Yggdrasil. But to you, that person, it will mean nothing because they haven't seen that for themselves.
So, yeah. So you say things and I'm like, I sit with it and I listen to you and I'm like, and then I'm like, my next question in, and I'm still sat listening to what you're saying, like, this answers so many things. So to round this beautiful conversation up, what you do the runes, is that correct? Yeah. What got you into doing the runes?
Well, I found out by accident that I was really good at it. I cannot say by any stretch of the imagination that I was ever possessed, but a form of possession does happen to me when I do that. I am at all times very cognitively aware of what I'm doing. I can stop whenever I want to. There is no force that takes over me.
Yeah.
I can stop it if I want to.
Yeah.
But something does come over me when I do the rune readings for people. I don't know anything about those people, but somehow their whole life is just there for me. There are no secrets. I see everything. And the runes are just indications like, look, you want this out of life. You are not a bad person. You have these gifts. Go into this direction if you want to utilize your full potential. There is no malice there per se. I mean, there can be. It's not even malice. No, I have to stop myself there. It's not malice. When you tell a person to look, you are going down a bad road, and I can see this in your rune reading. Stop that. That is for their best interest. That is not. You don't tell them this because you hate them. You tell them that because you love them. You love them as humans. You recognize that there is no such thing as a bad person per se. People do bad things, but a person isn't born bad. There is no such thing as a person that is just innately evil. You are just a human.
Yeah. So do you do the tarot?
No, I I do that for myself, but I don't do that for other people. No, because I don't think there's anything I can tell them that would help them.
So do you do the runes professionally?
Yeah.
So people can, like, if I put your details in the links below, they can reach out to you and have a rune reading.
Yeah. But I do tell everybody that requests a rune reading from me, it's not fortune telling. I will never ever tell you in a rune reading or before a rune reading that there is something you can do to magically make your life better. They're introspective. That's all it is. I cannot do readings about your physical health, medical, or pharmaceutical. Very illegal in Italy, by the way. I cannot tell you where to go from now that you will suddenly be making a lot of money, become a millionaire. No, they are purely introspective.
So it's just showing somebody the bigger picture of their journey. That's
Yeah.
What they need to know to help them on the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing the runes?
Long time. A really long time. I couldn't really even be honest about that. I think I I did them for a long time. I did them for free for a long time too, until I thought like, no, I deserve to get paid for my time.
Yes. Yes, for your time. That's what it is, isn't it? It's an exchange of money for time.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't charge people for my readings. I charge them for my time.
Yes. Wonderful. Is there anything that you'd like to um is there anything that you'd like a message or not message? If you could give anyone who's listening to our chat tonight some words of advice to get the most out of their life right here, right now, because we are in times of, the old is crumbling, a lot of things that we thought was true is crumbling. Is there anything that you can share that's of
Yes.
inspiration?
I hope from the bottom of my heart that you trust yourself. If you think that something is not good for you or you feel a certain way about it, then go with that feeling. Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Just go with that feeling. Your gut feeling is your intuition. It is never wrong. Never. And I wish for you that you would trust that.
Thank you, Tina. That's beautiful. And it's up to us as individuals to create the reality. Do you think? I think we've got the capability of creating our reality. What
Yeah.
do you feel?
Oh, absolutely. But it also takes a tremendous amount of
Energy.
yeah.
Not
Yes.
to be distracted by what we see and hear. It's all very well going off to these retreats and going off to these workshops, but ultimately, it's every single minute of every single day we live our truth, isn't it? And it's our truth.
I also believe very deeply that our life doesn't need to be glamorous. It doesn't need to be on Instagram with these filters and, oh, we're looking so good. Look at me having my $600 steak. Why? If your steak costs €5 and you make it on your little grill in your own fireplace, and it is the best steak you ever had, why would it be worth more than that 600 one on a plate in a stupid restaurant that you never go to again because it's too expensive? It's so stupid.
It's being content, isn't it? I think that's the secret, isn't it? Like Thomas said, the secret is being content with what we already
Yeah.
got.
Yeah. And it is a lot considering what our ancestors had. They lived in very harsh conditions. In the cold, the weather was against them. At all times, the weather could kill them every day. We we don't have that problem. We don't have their problems. It's a lot. It's a lot to be grateful for.
Very
And
much so.
unfortunately, a lot of people will only realize that after they no longer have those things.
Yes. Yeah. I've put just one last question. I do this. I'm like, because I love listening to people's take on life. Have the ancient civilization? I mean, some people call it this White City, some call it Tartaria. Have you come across?
Well,
That's less.
I've seen a lot of megaliths in Italy, and I have come to the conclusion myself that those were made by a civilization that were human, but not like us.
Yes.
They were absolutely human, but not like us. I don't know how to explain this, but when I think of these people, what I see is something, or what I feel is something alien. it, I feel like they were more telepathic than we were. Um, I I just don't know for sure, but it's beautiful what they did. I mean, you look at those megaliths and think, wow, so many civilizations behind you claimed this to be theirs, wanted it to be theirs, thought of this as the greatest thing ever, and they thought like, yes, it's mine, but it's not. Uh, it that has to be significant. Uh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And there was this Australian guy who said like this, they called them the city dwellers. All of a sudden they just disappeared. But I don't know whether you've come across oh God, I can't think of her name now. She has a video, a YouTube channel called The Blue, and it's called about the ether, and it was how this alien race came. But it's not like they came, they're already here, the
But
alien race,
I don't
into
think they
dimension.
were alien per se. I think they were humans. And
Yes.
I think that we are a lesser version of them for whatever reason. I don't know. I really don't
Yeah.
know. But I think they were human. They were humans. And we should maybe strive to be more like them.
Yes. Trusting our intuition and being sovereign and trusting in our abilities and the power, like you said at the very beginning, when I said to you, like, how can we protect ourselves? And you were saying, however you see you protecting yourself, like whether it is through prayer or whatever method, that's the power, is your belief. Your intention and your belief is the true power, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I really don't think that a Christian prayer is less or more powerful than me thinking of a rune. I really don't. I think that the power of the intent of the person is what matters. If a
Yes.
person, it doesn't matter whether I think of a Quran verse or a Bible verse or whatever, or a rune, it doesn't matter. But if I think of it as a frivolous thing, the universe or my surroundings will correspond to be similarly. It will not take me serious because I am not serious. But on the other hand, if I am serious, the universe takes me serious.
I liked what you said. You said my surrounds. And that's just how something else is, like how our surrounding energy field around us is always responding to what we put out.
Yeah.
And that's very a truth. That's not a new age stuff.
No.
That's truth. So, like, we can set our intention the night before for the day ahead. We can set our intention, and one of the things it is like I said, I was going to end it, but it's like we get caught. We have been a lot of us, or a lot of people are caught up in that materialistic, isn't it? That you've got to have the big house, the big car, the big money, but that's not what it's about.
But you don't really need those things. And the universe, your surroundings, no. You have a roof over your head, you have food in your belly. That is what the universe responds to, the
Yes.
feral impulses. You don't need a bigger house. You need a house.
Yes. Yes. So it gets back to the garden and just go, well, allow the garden to grow its own roses in your case, but otherwise focus on growing roses. Tina, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. It really has. I really value the time that you've given to me. I can't thank you enough. So I will put in the details below how people can reach out for you for a rune reading. So Tina, thank you. I'm going to say goodbye on behalf of myself, and then I'll pass it over to you to say goodbye. Oh, bless you. So yeah, as I said, goodbye, and thank you so much, Tina, for joining me. And I hope you've enjoyed our chat. And please let us know your if you want to, you don't have to, but thank you everyone for listening, and good night. So Tina, over to you.
Good night, Jenifer.
Good night, Tina. Take care. I'm going to turn the recording off because sometimes I carry on talking. So yeah, good night from Mountain Mowbray, where it's still very, very hot.